the male reproductive system centers on the testes, which are present outside of the abdominal pelvic cavity. From the testes, sperm go into a duct system that includes the epididymis, the ductus deferens, which carries sperm up, and then the urethra that empties sperm, as well as urine from the bladder. To look at a side view of this system, here's the testes. The testes and the epididymis, where sperm continue to mature, are present in the scrotum, which is the sac that surrounds them outside of the abdominal pelvic cavity. Then the ductus deferens, which can also be called the vas deferens, is a tube which carries sperm up through the pelvic wall and kind of behind the bladder, where other fluids are added to the sperm. It passes through a duct in the prostate. The prostate is this big red organ here, such that urine is here in the bladder and is released down the urethra, which continues out the penis. The sperm can be released into that urethra in the same area of the prostate. The testes has a lot of lobules, and each lobule contains small tubes called seminiferous tubules that form as the factories where sperm are made. So the walls of each tubule are actually sperm cells in the process of maturing. As soon as they have a tail, they are released into the center of the lobule, the seminiferous tubule, and travel down the seminiferous tubule until they're released into the epididymis. The epididymis is also a long series of tubes, and as the sperm travel through those tubes, they get more and more mature. So this process of generating a sperm and allowing it to travel down the epididymis as it matures takes at least 20 days. The mature sperm, are stored here at the end of the epididymis, ready to be expelled up the vas deferens, but they are stored here unless they are needed for ejaculation. This duct, the ductus deferens, carries sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct and ends in the ejaculatory duct, which is really kind of in the prostate, where it dumps into the urethra. The urethra can carry both urine and sperm, hopefully not at the same time. Vasectomy can happen if you cut the vas deferens generally at the level of the testes, partly because it's easier to just go into the scrotum than it is to go into the abdominal cavity, but also just to prevent any transportation of sperm. They can still mature in there, but they can't be released. So additional glands that are part of the reproductive system. You have a pair of seminal vesicles on either side of the bladder that produce this sort of thick yellowish secretion that is about 60% of semen. Things that the seminal vesicles put into this secretion include nutrients and substances that activate sperm. The prostate gland is the large gland in the center, and it also secretes milky fluid that helps to activate sperm. These are all added to the sperm as it comes down the ductus deferens and enters into the urethra. There are also a pair of small bulb glands called bulbal urethral glands. These produce a thick, clear mucus, and this fluid is actually released from the bulbourethral gland ahead of the sperm that's in the semen coming down. So the bulbourethral glands secrete this clear mucus fluid, and it washes out the penile urethra of any acid urine left. It also can serve as a lubricant during sexual intercourse because it's a little fluid that is released from the end of the penis. And then the sperm and the fluid that it's in can be released later. So the external genitalia consists of a scrotum, which is just a sac divided because of the way it develops. And what's really good about the scrotum is it is outside the abdominal pelvic cavity, so it can maintain the testes a little cooler than normal body temperature because sperm are actually more viable below body temperature. The penis, which delivers sperm to the female reproductive tract in its reproductive function, and around the penis there are spongy areas of erectile tissue that allow the penis to become erect or not, I guess. So the processes of spermatogenesis, the process of making sperm is spermatogenesis. That kind of makes sense, right? Sperm and genesis is making. So sperm cells begin to be produced at puberty, and that can continue on through life. There's stories of 80-year-olds who have produced children. All of the sperm production occurs in the seminiferous tubules, where you actually have these stem cells. So a stem cell is a cell that is present in the adult body that's job is to go through mitosis and make new cells. So the stem cells, also called spermatogonia, undergo mitosis to produce sperm. The primary spermatocytes, interestingly enough, then will undergo meiosis, and a sperm will go through both the divisions of meiosis and produce haploid sperm that only have one copy of every chromosome. The entire process of spermatogenesis, beginning to fully mature, takes 64 to 72 days, and you're making millions of them a minute. So this process is going on continually and continually, really making tons of sperm. So the male hormones, the testosterone, is important to be controlled, and it is controlled by negative feedback. The same hormones, you remember the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone from the endocrine chapter. The luteinizing hormone is important in turning on testosterone production, so there's special cells in the testes that are making testosterone. And the follicle stimulating hormone is important in stimulating spermatogenesis itself and sperm production. The testosterone itself and other hormones produced can feed back to inhibit both the production of LH from the anterior pituitary and the production of releasing hormones from the hypothalamus, which will decrease production of both FSH and LH. So it can feed back at both the hypothalamus and at the anterior pituitary level.